Welcome anyone to my YouTube channel. This is Everett, aka Two Beasts to Kill You, aka the Beast with the Least. And I may be a little under the weather, if you could tell by my voice, but I'm still trying to. You know what? I was like, I wanted to wait. I'm gonna do this review anyway. Got to do this video. This is gonna be my video for the Battlefield 6 game. But before we get into that, let's hit that intro. Alright, so, as always, if you like what I do on this channel, like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that notification icon, all that other good stuff. Alright, let's just get into this because my throat is killing me. Pause. Alright, Battlefield 6. I believe it's now been out for about a couple weeks when I post this. Wanted to get this review out quicker, but again, under the weather. So, was it the return to Battlefield of great? The Battlefield we remember from, I don't even remember when Bad Company 2 came out and all that. Bad Battlefield 3. Well, Battlefield 4, or even Battlefield 4. Yes and no. So, when it comes to the campaign, I'm going to say no. When it comes to the multiplayer, I'm going to say yes? Question mark? Let's go ahead and get into my thoughts so everything obviously makes a little bit more sense. So, we're going to talk about the campaign first because let's just get that out of the way. It's crap. Like, through and through crap. It's boring. It's cliched. It hooks you in the first mission with this, like, actually mission and a quarter of a mission. The first mission, it's, you know, you're on an army base, and it's action everywhere. Once the actual fighting starts, you know, there's explosions, you're driving, you're shooting up tanks and people and other vehicles, and it's like, whoa. Yeah, you think, okay, this is going to be one of those types of campaigns. Obviously, you know, Call of Duty has, you know, made the action set piece, you know, blockbuster campaign very popular for, you know, these types of military shooters. And Battlefield has tried to ape that a bit, unsuccessfully with this iteration with Battlefield 6. So, yeah, you know, then that mission ends, you know, with with this whole, like, oh, everything's over. Is everything going to be good? And people are dying left and right. Oh, this is our last stand thing. And then the main player gets rescued, or main character gets rescued. And then it cuts to a year later. And, you know, you see more of the story. Then the next mission starts. And it does this awesome diving sequence where, you know, you don't really control the character, you know, but it looks, because the game looks beautiful, obviously. Like, it's Frostbite engine, like, say what you will about other games that it's been used for, like Dragon Age, Inquisition, or Mass Effect Andromeda. When it comes to, you know, Battlefield games, or shit, the Battlefront games too, like, the Frostbite engine is just beautiful. It's like almost second to none when it comes to what the game looks like. But then once you land, the rest of that mission is boring. And from there on, there's maybe like one more sequence that's exciting. And that's it. Again, it's cliched. It's this whole, you know, private military corporation becomes basically a world power, and you have to stop them. And, you know, oh, there's a twist that honestly, you know, I mean, it's 2 weeks. Again, this is 2 weeks out since the game came out. I don't care about spoilers. You know, the character that the main character is talking to, I think her name is Mills, turns out to be a bad guy. And honestly, once once she's introduced, you know, and they start talking and they're doing missions, it's pretty much like you call it right from the beginning. Again, I don't know. The campaign is just like I want to find some nice things to say, but yeah. Um, Again, it looks pretty. It looks great. Also, the AI in the campaign, the friendly AI, just if you don't constantly tell them to shoot enemies, it's like they don't want to shoot enemies. There were so many times where I swear they just ran right by other enemies, and I had to just kill most of the bad guys. Just that was it. Um, so yeah, campaign sucks. But that's not what you play a Battlefield game for. Honestly, that's not what you play these military shooters for, right? The campaigns, are there and they're fun if you play them, except for Battlefield 6 and, other Battlefield games that have come before it. So yeah, you play Battlefield for the multiplayer, and I am happy to say that they've rectified most of what, or pretty much fixed everything that they kind of fucked up with when it came to Battlefield 2042. So they brought back the classes to be the way they should be, where engineer, assault, recon, and I am forgetting the name that can do for that fourth class. Support. So they do exactly what you think. Whether it's fixing vehicles, obviously, snipers and healing people and all that stuff. But one of the cool things that they've implemented in this game, I don't remember if it was in 2042. I played that game. I just not honestly. I tried to play that game and you couldn't play it. But every class can use every gun, and obviously, if you recon, you get buffs with snipers, and assault rifles with assault, submachine guns with engineers, so forth. So again, them going back to that system that clearly was working in every other game that I don't know why they wanted to change so badly in 2042 is back, and it's obviously been more well received. It's just a better system. Yeah. And again, it even in 2042 when it actually could work, it's a Battlefield game. DICE knows what they're doing with the shooting. It feels great. The shooting, you can feel the bullets almost like hit your target. Other than maybe Bungie, there's probably not a better developer when it comes to that just core shooting, how it feels, how it just works, and just almost easy but hard to be able to get a target, but satisfying to hit that target. Not a lot of developers can do that. And also, the maps are, it's Battlefield again. The maps are huge. Some are small when you do the more close quarters stuff, because they do have the close quarters combat stuff, or close quarters battle, I guess. Sorry about that. But the map size, it's perfect, and it doesn't seem to want to filter you away from the fighting, or just be too big just for giant's sake of for a giant map's sake. Everything can flow pretty well. Now, those are pros. I'm going to get into the cons, but this is the last pro, but it's also a con. The team size. Obviously, when you play a Battlefield game, you play a Battlefield game for, big team battle stuff. 32 player versus 32 players. And, I'm happy to say that, yeah, it's still a thing. It's in this game. And it's awesome. It makes you feel like you're in a battlefield, with everything going around, explosions, tanks, jets, helicopters, just everything. But again, it's also a con, because even though it is a big team battle thing, it also can feel just like you are just a soldier in a war, which maybe works for some, but for me it just kind of feels like I'm just kind of playing until the game is over. And then once it's over, it's over. And sometimes it doesn't even feel like I'm really contributing to a win or loss even. It just feels like I'm in this until it's over. And, it's a bit of a disappointment, because in previous Battlefield games, it never really felt like that. Maybe in 4, it kind of started feeling like that, where they really wanted to make everything feel huge and you're in like actual war. But yeah, I mean, obviously it gets mitigated because the squads. So you have your four-man squad. So if your squad is pretty good, then you can maybe, yeah, you feel like you can contribute, or you're contributing, but then that's more your squad is doing something. But who knows if you're lucky enough to get in a good squad every time. And then for my last con, it's going to be the destruction. Buildings blowing up is always going to be fun, and it seems better than especially like in other games where like Battlefield, even Battlefield 4 was kind of, they had the, what is it called, Levolution, but they were a little guilty of this, where it's like a lot of it was in like urban environments, cities, so the destruction wasn't as destructible, I guess, as like say Bad Company 2. And so, when you're in certain like an oil field or whatever it is, walls blow up, smaller buildings blow up, and things like that. But it just doesn't feel the same as, and I don't know, maybe this is me being old. Bad Company 2, I think, had the best destruction out of all the Battlefield games. I like going into a match, and by the end, like, everything was leveled. And that doesn't happen. That hasn't happened since. And I get, when you want to have bigger environments, bigger maps with tall buildings, you can't do that. That's why they kind of did that in Battlefield 4, where they had Levolution, where certain big buildings were, after, a certain amount of destruction or whatever, would fall. So, there was something, but, I understand that you can't really do all that, because, you want to have some level of, okay, well, someone does want to perch up on this building to be a sniper to help out the team, or to do this, or to do that, or whatever it is. So maybe it's just not viable, or a good idea to be doing that. But I don't know. To me, it feels like something is lost. Overall, I mean, I enjoy it. It's Battlefield. If you enjoy Battlefield, it is a return to form in most aspects. I do kind of wish it would return to Bad Company 2, but I understand we're probably never going to get that. So I enjoy what we got. I don't know what I would rate this. Maybe like a 7 if I were to give it a number. But yeah. And so that's going to be my thoughts on Battlefield 6. Again, you like what I do on this channel, like, comment, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. And until next time, I'll catch you later.